After the Westbrook trade to the Lakers, there's a lot of buzz around NBA media as usual. Talks about league having too many super teams, LeBron making a super team again, and weird stuff like that. I really think there's an interesting talk surrounding super teams, and this video is just going to be me talking about super teams and super team things. Let's get into the video.
They be like, what? Can you teach me how to dirty? You know why? Cause all the bitches love it. All I need is a beat that's super bumpin'. And for you to back it up and dump it.
Leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I drop regular NBA content and I have a series called the greatest playoff runs ever going on right now. I dropped the first video for it recently about Giannis Antetokounmpo's 2021 run and I'd really appreciate it if you checked it out. Moving back to the video. So according to me, a super team is when a team has two top 10 to 15 players in the league and one very solid all-star with a passable supporting cast. Another aspect of super team is at least one of the three players who make the super team were got in free agency or traded from their previous organization because they were disgruntled in their previous team. For example, LeBron and Bosh signing in Miami, James Harden getting traded to Brooklyn, and Kevin Durant signing with the Warriors, etc. According to me, the real roots of a super team for the modern day super teams were laid out by the '08 Celtics. Garnett and Pierce, while not being in their prime during this formation, were still top 15 players in the league. Ray Allen was a very high tier all-star in the league, and this was a super team in my opinion. Not nearly as good as the super teams which followed, but this was a super team. And I think this team was the reason why super teams followed for the years to come. The Celtics team beat LeBron twice in the playoffs, in '08 and '10. So LeBron took matters into his own hands and did something Cleveland couldn't. Got himself help. Big time help. He made a super team of his own in Miami, then kind of a super team in Cleveland, which led to another superstar making a super team, with Kevin Durant joining in the Warriors. Then Kevin Durant made another super team of his own in Brooklyn right now, which led to the Lakers now kind of forming a super team again with Westbrook. The point I'm trying to get at is every super team until now was kind of a domino effect from the previous super team. It all started with three disgruntled stars deciding that they were going to team up to help each other, and this team was interlinked with every super team to follow. Is this really okay? No and yes. This has to be looked at from two perspectives, from the players and the fans. As a viewer, let me take the example of being a Bulls fan during the Heatles era. A Bulls fan would have been excited the entire season because of having a great team who had one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, but at the back of their minds, they always knew there was a three-headed monster they were going to face in the playoffs at some point, which is probably going to beat them more often than not. This can be said about a lot of good teams during super team eras. Teams which are great during the Warriors era and probably championship caliber teams such as the Houston Rockets. And probably we might have to say this for the Nets in the near future. Like, would you rather watch a Suns or a Hawks run this year? Two teams who are not expected to go as far as they were, or watch two super teams who everyone knows are going to make the finals and basically mean the rest of the playoffs for nothing. Though we might get an all-time finals, everything else was for nothing, and it wouldn't really be the same experience as we've had when the Suns or the Hawks made runs this playoffs. I'd personally rather watch the playoffs with actual excitement throughout. But what I think the real thing about super teams is blame the front offices, not the players. The league is doing the best they can to keep players with the teams which drafted them, like introducing the Supermax contract and such. But we've reached the stage of player empowerment now that players are opting out a year or two into their first big contract. Stars re-signing for a second big deal with the team which drafted them has become an extreme rarity. Players like Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal are celebrated right now for staying with their home team. But how's that working out for them? Barely any front offices can get their stars the help they need to win a championship, and super teams are actually a reason why they can't get help to beat them. And due to this exact same reason, can you blame players for forming super teams to get help for themselves in their careers instead of wasting their prime in sorry ass front offices? So in a way, you can blame Damian Lillard not being able to win a championship right now to three disgruntled stars teaming up together 13 years ago. So the next time you say LeBron or Kevin Durant ruined the league, think about this, the domino effect. The solution for this is competitive franchises. At the end of the day, there's one team which comes out on top and literally nothing else matters. And even if all the franchises in the league were competent and good enough to win championships, it would take all the teams in the league to win at least once 30 years. Just because of this, there's literally nothing the league can do to stop super teams and stop their superstars from winning their championship. This is also the reason why there are so many more KPJ stands, MPJ stands, Bowl World, and such things all around Twitter and NBA media instead of fans actually supporting teams. I think all we as fans have to do is learn and celebrate players and stars for not being ringless too. Celebrate them for more than just championships and let them do what they want. Sure, it's frustrating to know that your team is not going to have a chance to win the championship in the near future, but bear with it, I guess. Enjoy the process even if it doesn't really have fruitful results. And that's all I have for you today. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Leave your thoughts about super teams in the comments, and I drop regular NBA content. Be sure to check out my video on Giannis. It's my best video yet, and I promise you won't be disappointed.
Obviously, I wanted to get the job done. But that's my stubborn side. Like, it's easy to go somewhere and go and win a championship with somebody else. It's easy. I could go. I don't want to put anybody in the spot, but I could go to a super team and just do my part and win a championship, still win. But this is the hard way to do it, and this is the way we have to do it. And we did it. We did it, man.